Hello, everyone. We're here for Art Talk Session 7. We are here with Max Grecke. Hey, Max, how you doing, man?
Hello, I'm great, thanks.
Uh, we kind of we have a typical way we like to start stuff like this off. We just ask. You can tell us about how you got into the. I don't know, what was your initial inspiration for getting into art?
Right. Yeah, well, I guess I've always been painting since I was like tiny kid. So I've always pretty much known what I wanted to do when I grew up. So I knew that I wanted to do, firstly, I was a lot into comics and all that, and I knew that I wanted to do like pretty much anything related to drawing just. So from there, it's just I've been kept going and I've kept painting and all that.
Mhm.
So when I was like 18 years old, I think, I decided that I really wanted to like pursue it like professionally and make it work so I could actually live of it as well and not just paint for fun.
What was it
So
that you saw that made you want to work in the industry like that? Was it did you I don't know. For some people, I know conceptart.org was like a big thing that got them started.
yeah, I did check the site a lot when I was like 14 years old or something, but I
Mm,
guess the main site that I was into was DeviantArt.
mm.
Uh, I guess so. I guess my goal was to get some kind of recognition on there. I saw a lot of people doing like commissions, like for people on DeviantArt drawing their characters and all that, furries and all that stuff.
So
So
did you self study, or did just decide to go to art school for it, or
I'm all self-taught. So I
awesome?
decided, I guess the biggest reason is because there isn't like any good uh, art schools here in Sweden, specifically for digital art, which I knew that I wanted to do. I
Mm.
got my first Wacom into 3, I think, when I was 15. Um, so I kept drawing digital since then, and I'm totally handicapped with pen and paper now.
Oh man,
So
yeah, it's completely the opposite with me. Like I just got my first into it. It's I don't know. It's actually it's been about a year, but it's I don't know that's definitely a hard leap to make. I don't know if I could imagine being like a handicap being handicapped against pen and paper or pencil.
yeah, I've tried drawing with it, and I guess the biggest problem is that I don't enjoy it anymore. Of
Mm.
course, I can sit down and draw with a pen and paper, but I don't think it's fun anymore. Just like it twitches in my left hand because I'm so used to clicking Control C all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess you kind of get spoiled like with all the
Yeah,
features in Photoshop. Yeah.
In terms of being self-taught, what did you do? What would you recommend? What did you source?
yeah. People ask me that much, and like at the time when I guess when it was the most vital part to know what to practice and what to study and all that, I didn't think too much about it. I actually just kind of drew what I thought was fun to draw at the time. So I guess that was the most important part to me, like that it always was fun for me to paint.
Mm.
Of course, like doing studies and all this is like super important to learn like technical stuff.
Did you
Did
do
you
a lot
learn
of
Loomis stuff or something?
Huh?
Did you learn Loomis or anything like that? Or
Oh, you mean like inspirational artists?
yeah, or just how you picked up the
Hmm.
fundamentals.
Yeah, I don't know. I've always had like a tough time deciding what style I want to paint and all that. So uh, I've drawn a lot of switch styles a lot, I guess.
Mm.
So yeah, I like to draw realistic stuff, and I drew a lot of manga stuff as well at the time.
Mm. Okay. So
So,
were you?
what was your first like break into the industry? Like, what was your first job?
Oh, gosh, I don't know. I've
Yeah,
had some like for a year ago, I was like I didn't have any jobs at all, and I thought I wouldn't like even have a chance to earn enough money to live off this work. So, like for a year ago, it just kind of took off, and like I got some early work for Hex, which is like a trading card game, online based. I don't know if you heard about it.
I haven't heard about that one.
a new one to me.
So I guess that's like at the time was the biggest work that I got. At
How was
least
your
was big
experience?
for me compared to other stuff that I've done because most stuff I did before that was like for like private person, like indie, really small indie companies doing iOS games and all that.
Gotcha.
So you say your aspiration is to work in a. Remember you said that before we came into the interview that your aspiration is to work for maybe Pixar or DreamWorks,
Right. Yeah.
at least in the long run of things. Like, do you have any like personal projects or anything like that that you, I don't know, that you like like want to see happen or I don't know.
Absolutely. I do have like a ton of stuff in my head all the time that I want to do. Um, I have my own really simple iOS game that I've been working on for a long while now, which I never get to be able to get finished because I have other work at the same time. So, but other than that, it's like I do have like stories and all that I want to do. Uh, it's just finding the right format to show the story and all that is really tricky.
Yeah, definitely. So after you did work on Hex, like what was your next sort of big, I guess, industry job that you had?
Hmm. Well, I guess like the biggest I would say is Blizzard now. After that, yeah.
How was like working for Blade? I mean, I'm sure it was awesome, but like, can you like shed any light on like what you did for them and sort of
It
like what your
was
role was?
it was a super good experience, and I mean, like I said, like for a year ago when I didn't have any work, it just kind of took off, and I've had constant work since then. So I've never really had a break to like take in that I got the chance to work for Blizzard. But they were like totally what I hoped them to be, um, like in sense of how they approached me and uh, just basically working for them. They were like super good and great feedback and all that stuff.
Did you do primarily like a lot of concept art for their games, or like what was your sort of?
I've just done like one illustration that I did for the latest Hearthstone cinematic they did for their latest expansion.
Mhm.
So I did one image for that trailer.
Yeah, nice. So they showed that off at BlizzCon this year, right?
Right, that's correct.
Well, that must have been pretty exciting, especially the fact that
Yeah, it was really, really cool. Like actually seeing the trailer was like almost more fun than getting the job.
yeah,
Yeah, but it must have been a pretty like great feeling, like to see your work kind of
Yeah,
come to life.
yeah,
Yeah,
that's kind of when you realize how cool it actually was to get the chance to do that.
mm.
yeah, that's awesome.
So like in the beginning when you first started taking like commissions and such, like when you were first starting out, was it like I don't know, I mean, was it like a lot of ups and downs, really difficult?
Um, yeah, I mean, like with money, I guess it was.
Mm.
I guess like I really don't care about the money in the end, as long as you get to paint and you're able to live off it somewhat. That's pretty much all that matters. But of course, like money always is the biggest problem. So as I worked with a lot of smaller indie companies, uh, that was the biggest issue.
Well, then when you really had your break, you know, like where, you know, you got on with like Blizzard and stuff like that, was there something that you did that, you know, kind of set that off? Like, did you, I don't know, well, was there a particular image that you painted, or was there something that, you know, like got like a lot of attention that kind of put you on the map?
I actually don't know. It's pretty funny because Blizzard contacted me through DeviantArt actually, um, and through like a personal message through DeviantArt. So it was kind of like, hey, do you want to work for Blizzard? So I was like, hey, yeah, sure, why not?
Sure, yeah.
So
So
I didn't actually know if it was a serious thing at first. I don't know why someone would trick me, but yeah. So they reached out to me through there, and I guess it was like probably 2 months after they contacted me through email again and said, "Hey, do you want to get started?"
Wow. Yeah, I've actually heard like a lot of companies will do something like that. Like I don't remember, someone we interviewed, I don't know, that said like, I don't know, he got like a message from, I don't know, some big name in a company, and he thought it was like fake or whatever until like
Right.
after.
actually, the Blizzard, it was Evan. Yeah, he worked for
Yeah,
Blizzard. Yeah,
yeah, that was it. And then he was like, he messaged other people in the company. They're like, no, no, that's him.
they're like, yeah, that's our boss. Yeah, it was
Yeah.
like super
Oh,
casual.
yeah. Yeah, you really don't expect it, so
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess you have like a moment where you're just trying to like process, like, did Blizzard really just contact me? Is this
yeah,
happening?
totally.
That's awesome.
So I was really, I guess I said I didn't hear from them in like 2 months, so I was super disappointed as well. But then they got back to me, so
Rock
yeah,
on, yeah.
yeah.
So I noticed you have really awesome line work here. Like, is that just like a chalk brush you're using, or?
Yeah, this is just like a basic chalk brush.
Gotcha.
Uh, I mostly use that one. For the line art, I use it with like uh, what is it called? Like, so you have different uh, pressure.
Oh, is it shape dynamics with
Right.
transfer, basically?
Yeah.
Got
So for the line art, I use that one, and when I do the shading, I use the one that's pretty much don't have shape dynamics.
Mhm. Yeah, I noticed you've been doing like, you do like a lot of like, you do the wide strokes and then you use undo until you get the line correct.
Right.
Yeah, that was a samurai piece that I showed you. Like really picked up on that when I was doing that, and man, it was a killer. Spent way too long trying to do line work.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, but I think that's like the fun part. You can like throw down lines, and if you don't like it, you can like you somewhat like in some way you still have the shape in your head that you did, so you know
Hmm.
how to place it more carefully the next time.
Yeah, there was a moment I had the other day actually when, because like at my job I can only work in my sketchbook, and I opened up my
Right.
sketchbook and I was going to do a sketch, and there was a moment where I made a line and I was thinking about the undo button, and I was like, okay, hold on a minute, I can't undo
Yeah.
this.
Yeah, I'm even like I do that when I paint like my walls in my house.
Hmm. It's crazy.
So yeah,
So you're just doing like a work kind of thing, is there?
yeah, I guess it's just basic work,
So did
basic
you
as
just
it
like
gets.
take a selection out of your line work? Like, did you just like do like a selection of that and then fill it in?
Yep.
Yeah, I
Basically.
use the Magic Wand tool to just select the outer area,
Gotcha.
and then I right click and inverse the selection,
Yep.
and then I just fill it in. And then I use I use this base layer I have as a selection tool. So as I have Mac, I press Command, and then I press on that layer, and I get it as a selection.
Mm.
So when I want to paint in like different layers, as I do if he had here, I would paint in that like this.
Gotcha. And I guess that preserves your line work too, so like you can kind of maintain that throughout.
Yeah,
It's interesting. I
yeah.
like
So
that.
like I usually put my line work to overlay. So like if I know that I want to remove it, and then I don't have to do as much paint over at the final stage.
So is this
So
like normally how
how
you
long do
start?
we have so I know how fast I need to paint?
Oh, we have all as long as you need to paint it.
All right,
We have
cool.
limited time. Is this like normally how you start most of your paintings? Like, do you usually start with line sketch, or do you ever just kind of like go in and just start throwing paint around, or?
Well, I've tried that technique of just going in and start painting values without any line work, but it just doesn't work for me at all. I really want to have control of the design and like the shapes before I do that.
Yeah, I get this.
So so now I always do line work for first.
Notice you're keeping your you're keeping your selection going rather than making a clipping mask. Do you ever like do that or
I actually don't use that.
no?
Uh, I think this works easier for me.
Mm.
Uh, I don't want to be locked down to a layer or anything like that.
I mean, it's basically the same. I guess it's
Yeah,
kind
yeah,
of
I
the
guess.
So are you
I
going to
ju-
like just establishing your values first, and then you're gonna like go over it with color? Or it's the
yeah, I paint all my values in black and white first, and then I go in with the colors.
gotcha. Yeah, I think I've it's extremely rare, but like I haven't seen a lot of artists who will actually like go in raw with color, and
I
most.
actually used to do that some time ago,
Mm,
uh, but just like being efficient and uh, like having more control this way is so much better
mhm.
because now I can go in and change the colors however I want them and all that without like screwing everything up.
No, I definitely like your approach so far has been like very unique compared to like most of what we've seen. Like there's a lot of things that I think are really cool about this. Like I'm gonna have to try some of it.
Yeah, there was I don't know. I don't think I've ever actually seen somebody like I don't know with how they uh, typically they start out with like their sketch will be pretty rough or something, then they'll just lower opacity and go over with like finished lines.
Right, yeah. Yeah, I found that um, I used to do like super rough sketches and like when I did it, sorry, that's my dog.
He just wants in on the interview.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he wants all the attention. So yeah, I found that like when I did the really rough sketches, I spent way too much time cleaning up in the end because I did have to do like a lot of paint over.
Yeah.
So I really tried to do like my first sketch as clean as possible, so I don't have to do a lot of cleanup later on.
Yeah, I guess it would save you time in the long run.
Excuse me, I need to go.
That's all right. Yeah, I've never seen somebody go in like and lay like you see how he laid the head form?
Yeah, it's awesome.
Yeah, like he started out with like that general like shape and then he like worked inward. I don't see people do that very often.
Yeah,
Okay,
actually,
Doc,
like
sorry about that.
Oh, that's
oh,
okay.
you're fine.
He's still a puppy, so he is quite a handful.
No doubt.
Yeah, I guess he's at that age where he wants a lot of attention.
1 minute.
Oh, it's okay.
You're fine. I love to put special guest Max's dog.
Yeah, we gotta just figure out what Max's dog's name is.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really like seeing like this approach. I knew it was like really different right from the get.
Like I like this. Like it's really cool.
No, definitely.
You have to practice really sharp lines. Yeah. Man, I'm just gonna grab the chalk brush after this and try it.
Yeah, I'm just gonna get on. I mean, you didn't have to be a chalk or anything like that. I'm just gonna go with like the regular, just like the hard round kind of deal, and see like I don't know. It's obvious that like doing those like broad strokes and then using the eraser just like in that fashion is
That's awesome.
so you're back.
Yes.
Right. Yeah. Well, what was your dog's name again?
My dog?
Yeah.
He's called Dino.
I know. Awesome.
He's a Mexican hairless dog.
Oh, we're gonna put a thing.
People think they're super ugly.
Yeah.
We were gonna put like a guest thing for your dog in the interview.
Special guest appearance from Max's dog. Yeah.
They always have to bark when you're busy doing important stuff.
Mm.
Yeah, he just waited all day for you to start your demo, and he's like, "Yeah,
Right, yeah.
He's like, I'll sleep all day until the interview tonight.
Yeah, that's like the funny thing. Like I'm the one going up in the mornings and waking him up because he has to go out,
Mm-hmm.
not the other way around. So right now I'm just kind of like masking out the body as well, just because it would be easier to shade the face, so it doesn't go over the body as well.
Gotcha.
So well, I mean, I'm sure you probably can't talk too much about it because it's NDA or whatever. But like, I mean, are you expecting to be doing like mostly just Hearthstone stuff for Blizzard?
I don't know. I guess yeah, because my style fits it pretty well. I actually did apply for to work for World of Warcraft as a concept artist, but they thought my style was too pushed, I guess, and didn't look like their in-game stuff.
Gotcha.
I've always wondered how they kind of like made that shift because like I've seen some of their concept art books before, and their concept stuff can actually be like. I remember when they first did the panda. I think it was like Pandarium or.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, like that actually looked kind of like real. Like it like the sketches looked more realistic, and then like, in-game stuff is very cartoony.
Yeah, I really did have that approach. As I have a lot of Blizzard art books, I knew that their style was pretty pushed in the concepts, and then really brought back when it was put in game. So I really thought that was the right approach, but I guess it wasn't.
I wonder why they particularly do that. Like I remember it's almost kind of like I don't know, like kind of gives you like a false sense of it. Like when I first saw like as I don't play the game, but when I first saw is it Cataclysm?
Yeah.
Yeah. When you first saw that, like it's this realistic dragon with this big metal jaw, and you're like, oh wow, that looks awesome. Then you like look at the and it's like super cartoony.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, that's that's why I had the approach, but yeah, I guess it worked out in the end, anyways.
I mean, you'll know that in the future for if you ever apply for it again.
Yeah, definitely. And I did get a lot of feedback on that as well. So
And usually, like that's actually something I've been talking with a few people lately. They say like even if you won't get like a job, like mostly like it's you'll still like get like feedback or something from the AD there,
Right.
whatever else. Like that's usually pretty common.
I don't know, like I actually haven't like uh, tried to get work in that way before, uh, and actually doing an art test and applying like that. But in that case, yes, I did get like great feedback and what to think of, and I actually did try to copy the art director's style as much as possible.
Oh,
But yeah, I do think like you always will get like proper good feedback back, like maybe what your strength is and what you should like think about.
I guess they kind of give you the notes you need if you want to go and like apply them and then come back with a
Right.
portfolio
Yeah,
more tailored for that position, I guess.
yeah, I guess so. Like that's always something I wonder as well if like companies, like if you're a young artist, if companies think about that, and, like think about like if you can develop a lot or not.
Yeah.
So that's like I'm very curious if they think like that.
So I guess right now you're just focusing on blocking in your
Right.
forms and setting
Yeah.
up your value.
It's really tricky to paint and talk at the same time. Actually, I've never done that before.
yeah, I have a difficult time with that as well. So it's just I don't know. It's always makes me feel bad because everybody's talking, and then I'm like, wait, what did you say?
Right. Yeah, I'm starting to feel like that way now as well. But yeah, I'm just roughly blocking in the shapes and all that now, just
It's
so
already
I
got
can
like a
get.
very early read, like three-dimensionally. Like it's awesome.
Yeah, it's just like getting all the different elements, like the teeth and the eyes, getting them pretty rough, just so I can get like a good overview of how the values will look.
I really like how you did the teeth, where you just did like a layer above for the teeth, and then you went a layer below and filled in the black for the mouth. Like that was smart.
Right.
It was like that was efficient. Like I would have never thought about that.
Yeah, I've seen like a lot of like shortcuts that you're using, like in a like how did you go about learning like Photoshop when you first started, working with it? Like was it
Just trial and
Hmm.
error.
Gosh, I don't know. As I said, I got my first Wacom when I was like 15.
mhm.
So I did use Photoshop, like the first sketches and all that I did. But then for some reason I went and started painting in Flash because I thought the program had like this cool feature where the line work like automatically did cool shapes, so it looked good without yeah, not having to think too much about it. So yeah, that was pretty dumb, but I did paint in Flash for a long while. Uh, but I don't know, like there isn't. I don't think there's much you have to learn about Photoshop except using like the brush, I guess. So I guess like doing like organizing your layers and all this, and it just comes with time, I guess. Like how you prefer to work like personally.
Definitely.
So right now, when I have like a better overview of my values, I usually like to go in and do more details.
Start adding textures and things, I guess, like flesh it out a little more.
Right, yeah.
You do that same technique, layer below, cast shadow.
Yeah. That's a go-to.
That's smart. That's
Yeah,
efficient.
that's really smart. Like, I'm taking some notes. Yeah, and then you always have that, I guess, selection, like keeping your paint strokes from going out of the
Right, yeah, I
silhouette.
have this like thing. I don't know what it's called, like the lock thing there.
Hmm.
Yeah, yeah, that like keeps it inside the form.
Right, yeah.
Yeah.
So like my lines don't go
I
outside
actually
of
like
it.
that better. Like a lot of people use like the clipping mask and they have a bunch of separate layers, but it seems a lot more fluid to just stack them like that and then use the lock to keep the brushes inside without having to
Right, yeah.
like go too crazy with like doing a ton of clipping masks and separate things like that. Like this is you're just making them as you go. Like it's
Right,
actually
yeah.
really smart.
Yeah, and then I like, for example, like when I put on the colors, I just select that layer and I do a color layer.
So you would select like a base tone, I guess.
Right,
Ah,
yeah.
that's
So that's why I put on the colors later.
yeah, and I guess from there you would just like paint on top with like actual like different I guess hues
Right,
and
yeah.
stuff.
Yeah.
That is brilliant.
Yeah, I'm still working on. I have a Gumroad tutorial that I will be releasing next week. Next week, so
Is
I
it
will
just
cover a lot of my basic process in that.
yeah, okay.
Is it like a character painting like this, or do you like cover some other territory, or?
It's pretty much like this picture I'm doing right now. Just kind of basic, just to show how I work, my process and how I do my layers and all that.
Yeah, I'll definitely have to check that out. You said it's coming out next week?
Yeah, next
Yeah,
week.
awesome. Yeah, anybody watching too, check that out. Yeah, Gumroad.
I mean, like you could sit forever with doing just values in black and white. It's very
You've
easy.
been using like one brush pretty much too this whole time, right? Just
Yeah, I'm
like
just
standard.
using yeah, it's just a chalk brush.
So
I
what's
really
your
think it gives a clean result compared to like textured brushes.
Yeah, it just has like barely a little bit of grain to it, so
Right.
like you
Yeah.
still get like a painterly effect, but it's not over like too crazy.
Right.
Yeah, I like it.
so what's your routine like every day? Like do you like when you start, I don't know, like when you get up, like do you immediately go start painting or do you like go maybe exercise or something or
I guess I start painting right away. Do like a warm-up piece or something just to get some sketching and just to like get the hand going.
mm.
I think
What
that
do you
helps a lot.
usually like to do when you warm up? Do you do like a lot of compositions or gestures or?
Just whatever comes to mind, or like a piece I've had in my head for a long time or something. Just, I think like doing a warm-up, it's important to do something you're comfortable with and really enjoy painting.
Yeah, I guess something that you don't have to think of too much about. It's more about just
Right.
getting your
Yeah,
mindset.
exactly.
Gotcha.
Yeah, because if you're struggling with your warm up at the beginning of the day, you're not going to be
Yeah, you're gonna like shit.
through your day.
Yeah, deter you.
Yeah. Starting off with an art block.
Do you ever have days like that where you get like an art block?
Like all the time. It's it's the worst.
How do you get through it? Do you just try to force yourself to sit down, or do you ever just say, "All right,
Yeah,
okay, I'm
you
just
stress painting like crazy. Like I have to get it to work now. I have work to do, and oh yeah, nightmare. But like usually, what works for me is like pretty much not painting, doing something else for a while. Maybe watch a movie or go play some games or something.
just something, I guess, to get your brain relaxed?" I
Right.
guess.
Yeah, because stressing about it really doesn't help.
Yeah, I guess if you're not in your zone, like and you're not really caring about what you're doing, then you're
Right.
kind of wasting the time anyway.
Totally. That's like the tricky part of having like a creative work as a profession.
Yeah,
Always have to
constant
think.
struggle.
Right, yeah. People are always thinking like, oh, you have it so easy. You just sit home and paint all day.
You think this is easy?
Yeah.
Getting the ability to do it is hard enough, let alone actively doing
Yeah,
it.
Even when you have the ability to do it, like, you can know everything in the world and come into like a block where you're like, oh man, how do I
You
figure
have
this
a
out?
design, yeah.
right.
That's just like the first half is just getting the technical skills, and then you still have the struggle of actually
Yeah,
designing
yeah,
something.
yeah. Yeah, and then you know you have the technical skill to do it, so you have to do it well.
Yeah, it's like I can't just half-ass this. If you are too, and you'll just be like, man, this is unacceptable.
Have you ever taken any jobs where you were like unsure if you could tackle like a specific subject they wanted you to do?
Um, hmm. Yeah, that's pretty funny. Like as I mentioned before, like the indie work, like for iOS games and a lot, like I did like for like a year ago or so.
Hmm.
Uh, at that time, people didn't come to me for my style or what I did. So it was more like I looked for work and uh, adapted to what they wanted.
That makes sense.
So usually now people come to me and want to paint like my style, I guess. So that's pretty amazing, actually.
Yeah, as I said, it must be nice. Like after working
Gratifying,
hard
yeah.
for so long, they finally want you to do what you want to do.
Right, yeah. Yeah, I
Do
mean,
what
like,
you want, and we'll pay you for it.
yeah, exactly.
So, like, in terms of subject matter, do you like to just like paint like fantasy, orcs, and elves, and things like that, or is there something else that you like really enjoy? Uh,
I do enjoy painting green guys, orcs and zombies. But I don't know, like, really do enjoy like fantasy, sci-fi, and modern themed stuff as well. So,
It's a good
like,
range.
whatever. I mean, it almost depends on what, like, if I played a fantasy game or whatever inspired me at the time, I guess.
Yeah, so I imagine like if you just watched like a futuristic movie, it might put you in the
Right.
mood. And then if
Okay.
you play a fantasy game or something, you're like, yeah, I'm in the fantasy zone today. Do some fantasy stuff. Yeah,
Totally. Yeah.
that's kind of I am. Like I like to dabble in a little bit of everything. Makes it more interesting too, like not getting stuck on just one subject matter.
Right.
Like I
Yeah.
couldn't imagine wanting to paint literally the same
Yeah.
subject every single day.
That's what causes art blocks.
Yeah.
you don't really gain anything out of it either once you do that for so long.
Yeah, you just kind of remain stagnant on the same subject. So if you dance around a bit, like I think it's more fun. Like
Right.
learn more and you can do more then too, because you'll get experience in all those areas, and you'll just any kind of situation you're in, you'll be able to at least have some kind of base for it.
Totally. So, like, what I like to do also when I put down some basic values like this, I like to make a selection of that base layer, and then I make a multiply layer on top, and that way I can go in like really softly with the chalk brush or so, and then just use like soft airbrush and erase parts out to push like some shapes uh, even further.
Kind of enhance the value contrast a little bit.
Exactly.
So, like for your brush settings, do you just kind of go with the default? Is it just like shape dynamics and then
I
transfer?
don't know. These brushes I picked up from somewhere. I can't remember, but I'm horrible with brushes. I never do my own custom brushes or anything like that. But they are pretty much the basic brushes, yeah.
Gotcha.
I will include them in the Gumroad as well.
That's
Oh, I'm
awesome.
sorry. What was it?
I will
He's
include the
gonna.
brushes in the Gumroad tutorial.
Okay.
Yeah, after you put that like shadow under the cheek there, like he's really
Right,
starting to pop.
So that I'm doing it, like I have a bad habit of flipping my image constantly as well.
I'm the same way. Like I have to like I'm checking, is this right?
I don't think that's a bad habit at all. Like, I mean,
Oh
man,
yeah,
if you're gonna do it, make sure it's right. I actually have been doing that kind of like with compositions lately. Like, whenever you try to like set up a composition, see if it works both ways.
right, yeah. Especially when you're painting like symmetrical faces.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah, like
it's
I have to do it
so
several times for front
right,
views.
yeah. It's so easy to get them looking really wonky.
Mm.
Yeah, it was so helpful to like actually have that feature, like, because like I had like a line bias where like my lines would like on paper like they would lean to the left, so like I would be drawing my characters and like I'd flip the page upside down and realize that everything is warped a little bit. And
Right,
I'd be like,
yeah.
so that really helped me fix that problem, like having that feature.
Yeah, that's kind of like the most comfortable way to draw like this kind of faces is always have them facing to the left for me.
Yeah, like three-quarter is so much easier because you can actually feel your way through like the 3D form. It's more of like a structure, but from the front, everything's kind of flattened, so it's
Yeah,
harder to get that going. So yeah, I'm the same way. Like I much prefer to do a three-quarter head than try to do one that's like front on. Like it's so tricky.
yeah. It also makes the face more interesting, I think.
Yeah, definitely gives you a better sense of the volume of it.
Right.
Yeah, you were able to get this to read so fast. Like that is just awesome. Like it already has like a sense to where like I feel like I could almost like wrap my hand around it like a stone statue almost. Like so quickly too. So is the circle back there? Is that like a shield or is that just like ornamental? I guess at this stage.
Yeah, I get ornamental, I guess. Just something. Just not have a blank orc.
Visual interest. Yeah,
Just like a little graphic design in there to set them off.
Yeah, trying to be fancy.
Yeah.
that looks good. Are you just like fleshing out the subtler forms now?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, once you have the basic values down, it's it's then it starts to get interesting. Really push like the parts that whatever.
Yeah, I guess once you get like the actual structure in place and you're not worrying about is the pupils aligned, just kind of have fun and feel comfortable about it.
Right.
I can definitely see a lot of the Pixar allure kind of coming through for like,
Really?
oh yeah, definitely. Like it actually like I mean it's not Pixar, but it reminded me actually a little bit about Space Jam. Those like when you
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
when
Another
the
thing.
creatures like get huge, like it looks a lot like them.
Oh yeah.
Now that you've said that, like it's like I can see.
It's almost exact. It's like it's just like them.
Yeah,
So that's
totally.
really awesome that you kind of took those like influences and kind of channeled them.
Yeah, that
Yeah,
was
it's
like
interesting.
a favorite kids movie of mine.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, it's like that with like a little bit of like Blizzard's like kind of blockiness. Like it still has a little bit of that like blocky structure that they kind of like.
So that's one thing that we actually don't hear too much about that I hear on occasion in a podcast is like when you started working for like a company like that, like you got a style guide, right?
Um, hmm. Well, like for the specific illustration that I did for the trailer, I didn't have that actually. The piece is kind of like it's a character from World of Warcraft, but he's like in the classic Uncle Sam, we want you poster.
Mm.
So I guess pretty much the only reference I had was the character and the original Uncle Sam poster.
Okay.
So I kind of like in the sketch stage, I did like different approaches in style for them to choose from.
Mm.
So I guess they kind of let you map it out on your own and just kind of
Right. Yeah.
set.
Yeah. I definitely got like a lot of freedom to do my own style at that piece.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, that's really like the best. That's really what you want to do, like get the freedom to do your own style.
Yeah, and it's probably like somewhat stressful, I bet, to like have to like try to like sit there and study a
Yeah,
like so like some kind of guide like that and memorize it and figure it out, like with all
yeah,
those guidelines and restrictions, like
definitely.
probably
I've
be a
heard,
little
Almost
hard.
I've
like,
heard that like, Magic gives their employees like style guides like right out of the gate.
yeah, it's really tricky to get like the likeness for something you usually don't paint.
Mm.
Yeah.
Do you usually take like I don't know, usually take most every sketch this far before you really start going in with the color over the color layers and stuff?
Usually, like I do the values even cleaner than this,
Mm.
um, because that also is the best way to be efficient and save a lot of time in the end. Like if I do like the values here like almost 100% as I want them to be, uh, I don't have to like paint stuff later on. I can just go in with the colors and call it final almost.
Yeah. Yeah, because I was gonna say you could probably just like go ahead and take care of all your skin texturing and everything, just write in the value and then just drop in the colors and a
Exactly.
little touch up here and there and done. Are you starting to just kind of like boost the highlights a bit and move toward like a specular or
Yeah, totally.
yeah.
I don't know, like usually I think more about like trying to get a realistic lighting or something like that and really think about where I put the highlights or the shadows. Right now I'm just kind of going for it. I think that's pretty interesting, like especially with like rim lights or something like that, just to push your piece to make it look better. I guess rim light is the go-to to make that.
Yeah, I know a lot of people like use that as a definite shortcut.
Yeah,
I think actually Evan showed us that in his tutorial as well.
right.
Yeah, it gives you like a very like early jump for your three dimensional forms and whatnot. Like it can give you like a super good read.
Absolutely. Yeah, I think that like it's like you don't have to make it look like realistic. Just make it
So
look
for
good.
the color here, what kind of like layer mode are you using for it?
They are in color.
So just like a regular color mode.
Color layer on top. Yeah.
Gotcha.
So it could be good to name your layers if you're doing this kind of technique, but I'm never doing that.
Yeah, I was
Probably
just
That's why I'm like constantly like
checking.
checking in and out of my layers to find the right one.
Yeah, I do that a lot. Like I'll just like turn them off and on and be like, what was I doing on
Yeah.
here?
So now that I have the basic colors in, I usually then I can use this base layer as a selection. And I like to go in with like a gradient map or something on top at soft light, because that can really make it interesting.
Add a little extra colors in there.
Right.
Are you starting to introduce like your light source color there, or is it just for like blush of some kind?
Sorry?
Is like you're adding the orange there? Is that like for your light source color, or is that just like some blush from like the blood?
Yeah, that's just like a blush. Correct.
Gotcha.
Just to get some color differentiation.
makes sense. Somewhere between, like you take green and blood being red, you give you orange. So there you get a little.
Are you introducing that on a normal layer, or is that a?
That is a color layer as well on top of everything.
Okay.
I guess you're gonna add some cools there to recede the shadows a bit more.
Exactly.
And so I guess blue would be the complement of orange. So let's see. It's good, some good color theory here.
Yeah. You like usually do this like light blue tone to show like stubble.
Yeah, for like a beard, I guess.
Right.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I'm pretty amazed at how like quickly you got that out. So
Yeah, this is
it's really
awesome.
Yeah, I still feel like the values lack a lot of depth, I think. So what I usually do is like I do a new multiply layer on top and do like a blue color or something.
Push the darks back a little more, I guess.
Right.
good.
Gotcha. You usually save like the intense like speculars and stuff for the end, like the really sharp highlights, or
If I want to do them, yes, I usually do that.
I guess it depends on the lighting.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like usually you want to do them because you make it. It does make the piece pop a lot more. But if you want to try to do like the right light settings, maybe you have to avoid it.
Yeah, if they're in certain environments, that just won't happen. So you just be
Yeah,
mindful.
skin is like super tricky to understand how it works in different lightnings.
Have you ever done any other like mediums besides like painting and drawing? Like, have you ever tried like 3D or?
I've tried some 3D ZBrush stuff, but I actually really enjoy sculpting traditionally with clay.
Hmm.
I think it's really fun and a lot more relaxing not having to sit at your computer.
I've always
Yeah,
been.
it'd probably be therapeutic almost to kind of get away from it.
Right,
Just-
yeah.
So are you,
Yeah,
is that like a soft brush you were using to kind of blend in some of these a little bit, some of the harder
yeah, I
areas?
like roughly paint in like where I want the value with my chalk brush, and then I like have this airbrush,
Yeah.
which softens the area up like a bit. So it's just very lightly I put it in.
I see. Yeah, like having those teeth and everything on the separate layers is really paying
Yeah,
off now.
yeah, this is like what I talked about. Like it's so easy. Like I still have that layer, so I can use that as a selection and go in again and just paint in some
And
different
you have
colors.
to, yeah, you didn't even have to do any like clipping mask or anything really. Like it's
Right.
all on its own there. So that's just clever to me. Like like I'm remembering like so many old pieces that I've done that like doing them with some of these strategies would have just been like it would have made it so much easier.
Right.
Yeah, because like going in and like trying to do like the neck shadows and everything's on one layer, like you're like kind of meticulously zooming in and like watching
Right.
your I'm just like this is
Having to
taking
watch your edges and everything.
yeah, like and all I had to do was like just paint the head on a separate layer above.
Yeah, like I used to paint all my stuff on one layer at one point as well. That was pretty stupid.
Yeah,
I guess for environment stuff and all that, it kind of works, but
something like this though, like character work like that, where there's so many like complex overlapping forms, like it just saves
right.
you.
Yeah, it saves you so much time and makes it like the edges so much more crisp.
Yeah, you get that sharp, clean edge, and you don't have to like, because like at the end of like a lot of my older pieces when I first started, like I would have to go back at the end and then clean up my edges,
Right.
and you know that's
Yeah,
an
that's
entire
like
like,
where
working like this. That's an entire step that's just removed from the process.
right, yeah. Yeah, that's kind of why I'm doing it this way because I spent all my time doing what you just mentioned.
So, what kind of layer are you on now here?
I did like another multiply layer on top with like a bluish tone. So now I'm just kind of erasing parts out with my chalk brush to
Kind of
like,
giving it like a gradation from light to dark a
yeah,
little
and
more.
push the like overhead lighting even more.
Gotcha. So is that a like a chalk eraser you're using there?
Yeah.
Gotcha.
So I've just used two brushes so far.
It looks like in the end it helps to amplify the texture of the thing in itself as well. So, working with both a brush and an eraser like that is
Right, yeah.
efficient.
If I do like if I want to add like texture, skin texture, so I usually do that like a later stage with something like this. So I get some differentiations, or I can do like some highlights like that.
Yeah, so I guess you bring out the fancier brushes after the structure is already taken
Right,
care of.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I suppose if you don't have a strong base, there's no sense in putting all the bells and whistles on.
Exactly. So that's why it's like if you can push your values as much as you can in the black and white stage, it's like for the best. And my computer is starting to get slow already.
The image is too complex now. It's processing.
Yeah, 19 layers, that is too much.
It's just too much awesomeness. It's overloaded.
Okay.
I'm seriously gonna go look up a picture of the Space Jam characters and like just to get a visual.
Yeah, I guess he is like a purple or pink dude, I think.
Yeah.
I guess they have a green as well, but
So like from start to finish in itself, like how long does an illustration usually take? I mean, you've kind of pushed it pretty far here, but like how long do you usually like to spend before you call it done?
that is a tricky question, but I don't know, like,
Sure, it varies some.
yeah, absolutely, but like, I guess in general, like 5 hours, I guess, 5 to 10.
It's pretty good.
Are you introducing a rim light now?
Right. I don't know if the blue is the right way to go.
I guess most of your color is cool, so like I guess if you wanted to contrast that, you would probably pick like a warmer rim light.
Right, yeah. Here they go.
You just like it was that rim light on a separate layer, and you just colored it with the wall.
Yeah.
That is brilliant. No need to repaint it, just whatever.
Yeah, that's why I can't draw with pen and paper anymore.
You're just like that's too much work. Oh, no, that's brilliant. Like, I'm gonna be like studying this video, man. Like, this is like some of this is like so obvious too. I feel like, and I've just been retarded and just never thought about it.
Oh yeah, it's like simple method, but used like extremely efficiently. So
Yeah, like I would have literally like, cause I've done that. Like, I would just erase all of that, and I would have just redone all the rim line
Right.
with a new rim line. I recently did that on a piece, and like
Yeah.
just seeing that, like, man, I wasted hours. I could have just changed the color.
Yeah, that's like the best way to, like, if you want to experiment and try different stuff. That's usually, I think, how you get a piece looking nice, just trying different layers, options, or whatever.
Just keep it fluid, I guess. Keep it open for
Right.
change.
It is really tricky to get rim lighting looking correct.
Yeah, it's something I struggle a little bit with. Like, I have to like really try to visualize the perspective that's where it's
Right.
coming from. Try to quantify every like shape it's gonna hit and stuff.
Yeah.
Kind of a meticulous
You really
process.
have to see your piece in 3D and imagine it that way.
Yeah, it's pretty much what I equate drawing to in a lot of ways. It's just like training your brain to be like a 3D rendering program.
Right. That's a good way to put it.
So I guess you're just kind of like feeling your way through it, seeing if it feels right.
Yeah. Yeah, this is a lot of just trying and seeing what looks right. And maybe push like the brightness a bit on his face. Oops.
Is that another multiplier? Or is that like a soft
That is an
light or
overlay
something?
layer.
overlay.
Overlay. Gotcha. So I guess you're going with like using sunlight maybe?
Yeah.
Since the yellow. Gotcha.
So at this stage, I like to paint in some highlights and all that.
Start adding, I guess, the speculars and the
Right.
small details. So you usually save, like, I guess, like any fancy textures and stuff for the very end, or?
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Because that way you also like have it under control and you can change that.
Yeah, you already know it's good to go. It's just making it fancy, I guess, or more
Yeah,
realistic.
exactly. Like the final pushes to make it as good as possible. So I'm constantly like looking at this as well because it gives a good overview.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
what.
I always keep that one open too. Just if you can't like seeing it from a distance, also always kind of like keeps you in check, I think.
Yeah, if it's not working small, then it's not working big.
Yeah, yeah, that's a great way to say it.
Make sure you're introducing the like the more subtler highlights and forms and ridges and
Yeah,
things now.
they're getting some of that gloss on the teeth.
So
I
I guess for
also
this
use
stage,
like I don't always paint in the specular elements. Like I also paint in stuff like areas under the chin here just to push some of the values even more.
yeah, it would probably like reveal some more form too, and just
Yeah, exactly.
yeah. So at this stage, do you like mostly just like work on just like one layer above, or?
Yeah, pretty much. Like I usually even uh, like to select all my previous value layers and all that,
Just
and
merge.
merge them down into one.
Gotcha.
So especially if you have like a character with a lot of armor and different pieces and all that, at this stage you have more control of the whole unit, I guess.
Yeah, so you're like, everything's working, everything's in its place. Like, I know my
Exactly.
base is good. Let's break it. Yeah, because it could, especially if it's like really elaborate armor and stuff. Like the layers could just get out of hand. I imagine at
Yeah,
some point.
totally.
Got in place. Yeah, I'd say at the stage, like you already know it's reading, and you already know the basis sound, so you could just, it's safe to kind of just go and merge it and then
Right.
just build. So
So
that's probably the hardest part is like at the beginning. It's also the funnest, but like it's also the most tricky is like that early stage when you're building the base structure. Like if you have any mistakes there, then
yeah,
rendering later on is going to salvage it.
especially when working for clients, I think when you get to that stage and then they want to do a lot of changes,
Yeah.
so that's really tricky. So sometimes it's not as easy to work disorganized when you're working for a client.
Yeah, because like you could get toward the end and you've already merged, and then they're like, oh, well, we've
Yeah,
decided we want this armor to be changed
yeah.
entirely. And face as well. We want him to look, more mean or something, whatever.
That
So we might cut
happens
these,
a
they should
lot.
throw this away and start a new one.
Just nod and smile, nod and smile.
It's like, sure, no problem. Got it.
So, for how long have we been talking now?
Been about an hour, I think.
All right.
Yeah, so did we start at 3 or did we start? We started at 4. Yeah, yeah, it's been just about an hour.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm actually really shocked how fast you got this thing up. Like, I don't even know if it's been a full hour. Like, I'm not sure. I can't remember exactly when we started, but like that is amazing.
It's been a little over an hour. Like we started, like we kicked it off a little early. It was about 15 till.
All right.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah, like yeah, you did in like an hour, like what takes me all day.
I guess like that's like the main thing I've been practicing a lot lately is being efficient and working with the layers the way I do and all that. So that's like a major time saver.
Yeah, no, this has been enlightening for me. Like, I'm definitely gonna reevaluate my process a little bit. Like, there's so many like very smart things. Like, and I've never seen anybody work quite like the way you worked before. Like, it's unique. So definitely gonna probably watch this like 20 times and
Yeah,
figure it out.
it's really funny to hear because I didn't think that.
It's a good combination of like having the layer, like the safety layers, but it's still fluid because you're just kind of stacking them as you go. You're not like, okay, I'm going to lay in all these bases, do separate clipping masks for everything. No, you just
Right.
keep adding a layer below, and then you can name them or whatever from there, rather than doing that very kind of crazy like clipping mask setup. And I feel like that's just so time consuming. But this accomplishes the same goal
Right.
more
Yeah.
efficiently.
Yeah. I guess
Yeah.
I've done this technique because I never figured out clipping masks.
No, I think this is better than clipping masks by a long shot. Honestly, like clipping masks are good, but like this accomplishes the same goal at a faster speed, and it maintains more of the fluidity that I like, kind of working on just a few layers. So like, I think it's very smart. I mean, like you save probably just endless hours like strategizing like that. Like,
Yeah. Like as I said, like of course I have to do a lot of like cleaning up and all that if I want to get this to a final state, but there's not a lot as much as maybe it would be if I did like my previous techniques or whatever.
yeah, definitely. And I mean, getting that like foundation so quickly is gonna like, you could already like, present the basic idea to a client, I imagine, and
Yeah,
with that.
absolutely. Like that's the thing. If I make the first and that's good and the client likes it, it's good to go.
Yeah. Yeah, 'cause, like this is like it has a nice polish. I mean, like already, and you've only spent like just barely over an hour, so like getting that base structure like that quickly with as much detail as already is on it is that's just phenomenal. And so at this stage, basically, you just spend as many hours as you want, just adding bells and whistles, pretty much.
Yeah,
Yeah, the
that's
core
pretty
concept.
much it. Like decide how much you wanna clean up and all that.
Yeah, because like the core concept is already there. Like it's read, we know what it is, and it's very clear and it's distinct already. So like I guess now it just depends on how textured or realistic or how many little subtleties you want to go.
Definitely. Yeah.
So I see now you're just kind of adding some like bounce lights and stuff. I noticed like some minor rim light and stuff around
Right.
like the
Yeah.
eye.
Yeah. I added
Upper.
some like cooler light at the edge here just to push the shape even more.
Yeah, and
So
kind of
it's more
separate it.
visible. Yeah.
Yeah, because it's almost kind of like a little vague over there, like what was going on, and so you added that like little like bounce lighting there to separate it from the ear behind it.
Right. Yeah, I'm guessing that's pretty much it. I don't think I'm gonna. Of course, you can push a lot of stuff, but
I mean, you took it.
yeah,
I mean, it has like a finished look already, like, when you think about just stylization, So, I mean, like, it's, yeah, man, this is amazing.
Yeah, it looks great.
thanks a lot.
We really appreciate you coming on, and showing us your process.
Yeah,
And
I
Yeah, it was
learned a
really
lot.
fun.
Yeah, thank you so much, because, like, this has
Hopefully,
been,
I made myself understandable, even though my poor English.
your English is great, actually. I gained
That's
a lot
good.
from
That's good.
yeah,
Yeah.
you do well, man, for sure.
like, of most of the demos that we've had so far, like, I've probably learned the most from this one, so, like, I gotta thank you again,
Oh,
man. Like,
that's really, really fun to hear.
yeah, like, I'm gonna go and, like, try some of these techniques out and play around. Adding some more effects to the decal back there.
Yeah, that didn't work too well. Always the issue with knowing like how it looks on different screens, well, how much you want to push the contrast and all that.
Yeah, I guess at the end, do you do you play with the adjustment layers like hue
Yeah,
saturation or the and stuff?
yeah,
Yeah,
that's
that's
yeah, exactly.
kind of last little checkup on it.
Yeah, because I work on an iMac and I'm painting on a Cintiq, and the colors are really, really different on them. So I usually settle for something that's good, looks good on both screens.
Yeah, because the Macs have like the Retina display, so you get that
Yeah,
like really super vivid image. And
exactly. So yeah,
All right.
yeah, this has been fantastic, man. Like, thank you so much, Max, for
yeah,
kind
I'm
of
really
coming on.
glad to hear it was like you learned a lot from it because I didn't know like that my process was unique in some way or so.
It's very different from everything we've seen so far. Like, I can say that. Like, it's been awesome, man. Like, I really learned a lot, and thank you so much for coming on and doing this for us.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, definitely, man. And definitely, like, come around sometime. We usually do like a study session, like in Google Hangouts, in the group on occasion. So,
Oh, I would love that.
any of you guys that are
Yeah,
listening, go over and check out Max's page. Um,
yeah, and be sure to check out his tutorial coming out on Gumroad next week. Plug that.
and I
And
guess we will see you guys next time then.
yep. Later, everyone. And we'll catch you next time.